Okay, we're back. Thanks. So when I dropped off, we were talking about you don't like Armando.
Yeah.
So tell us a little more.
Well, Armando is the guy who not only has leverage over me, which I don't like because he could spill my secret anytime he likes. He's also the one who made sure that my cousin will never get a proper Christian burial, and there's a part of me that really hates him for that, because deep down I believe.
Yeah, yeah. So the issue with the cousin. So the one that you melted down.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Oh, that's great. That's wonderful, Chris. I love it. So you recognize the utility of it. You're like, oh, well, he had to do that, right? But
he protected the family, which is good, but he may have denied my cousin access to heaven. So
so good. So good. Thank you, Chris. That's wonderful. All right, so Jared, last one.
Last one. I'm thinking straight to El Narco.
Yes,
he got me back in the business after I'd retired.
Great, great.
So I really, that's 50-50. I mean, I am way too old to be doing this, and there's nothing I'd like more than to retire. But what would that look like? I don't even know. So yeah, I think straight to the top. He called me back in. I owe him. There's no doubt about it. I don't know how to do anything else. So
so
here I am.
Guillermo Ramos, right? And he's about as old as you are. Okay, and I think maybe if it's cool with you, I like the idea that maybe you were once young men together, right, on the streets of Durango, way back in the day, and your paths just parted, right? And so he's in some ways he's a lot like you, where he has kids, he has a wife, but his kids are just sort of monsters, like they just have grown up with no boundaries, right? And so it it was almost like your nephew coming over, right? And really, and you married into the family. Jesus, you married his niece, right? I mean, it's you're very tight with this man. And when he came to you and he said, look, I need you to come back. There's a lot of threats. There's a lot of problems. I know that you want to just retire to the Baja, and I promised you money when you got out, but you got to come back. And you said yes.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect, good. Okay. All right, Damien, how about you, last and lastly?
So yeah, my last one is about close family that doesn't know what I do with the cartel and don't know how long you can keep the secret. So not sure who those would be out of. I mean, could be a new NPC that's also a family member.
I think a new NPC is great, especially because it gives your character a lot more depth. So who is this close family member? Is it like a spouse, or is it someone like a parent, or like who do you want to have mixed up in your life?
I would say probably a parent, maybe my mother, who's also sister, right? That's he's my uncle, so and she
great.
Right.
Yeah, she's just sad and just kind of disappointed in me and the direction I've taken. She thinks, he's just taking this job as a driver for Bimbo while he gets his act together, and then he'll finally go back to university and.
Actually, we've already got some disappointed parents, I think. So what if we flip that a little bit and we make it that she's actually really proud of you? like she's kind of got these rose-colored glasses where she's just like Magda kind of just sees right through this shit, but her younger sister is like, oh, he's such a good boy. Like he comes and sees me every Sunday, and he's gonna go back to school soon, and she's been saying that for 14 years. Right, right. Is that cool with you, Damien? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, but I'm a good son. I hold down my job.
Right.
She gets free bread and bacon.
We'll say her name is Yolanda. Okay.
Yolanda. Okay. Great.
Yeah, Yolanda. Right. And Magda just like she loves her sister, but she just doesn't respect her at all. Right, right. Yolanda's quite a bit younger than Magda. Magda's probably in her 80s now, right? Or 70s at least, right? Probably late 60s, early 70s. Her sister's probably in her, 40s, maybe
40, late 40s.
Might be her half sister too, right?
Yeah. Late 40s, early 50s, yeah.
Yeah, so she's still working, right? She still works at the beauty parlor. She comes by to see Magda, and Magda just smells you a million miles away. She knows exactly what you're up to, right?
Right.
She maybe not exactly, but she knows you're probably up to no good, right?
Right.
Now, also, does your mom know anything about what you do? I mean, how did she process you going to prison?
I think she was proud.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
she knows the score. She knows
Yep.
you stood tall, right? Okay, great.
Yep.
So it's Yolanda is kind of delusional about exactly what Dave gets up to. That's great. All right. Last but not least, Maria, tell us about your last and last day.
So the last one is that I have a bit of family, a sibling maybe, or a cousin, who mean well, but I worry about them. So in this case, I think Izzy for that. She's, I worry that not only is she bitter about her situation, but also she's gotten a little bit too nosy in my household, and I'm worried about what questions she's going to ask next.
That's great. That's great. Good. Cool. I just realized, so Yolanda is actually Magda's daughter. She's not Magda's sister, right? So because, just to confirm, so Oso and Yolanda are brother and sister, right?
Yes.
Right? Okay, cool. So she actually is more like 40. Maybe she's a little younger than you, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Great. Works out perfectly. And yeah, I love this with Izzy is trying to ask, she spends a lot of time at home right now, right? You caught her kind of like looking through some stuff sometimes, and she's we'll see whether she explores any further. All right, this is awesome, guys. This is a really dense, cool little network. I wish that if we're playing in person, I'd probably do a little relationship map. It's very, very well done. Let's go ahead and unless there are any other questions, we'll move on to our start of session moves. So does anybody have any particular questions, or are we good to go?
I'm ready.
Ready? Okay, cool. So we've got two characters with start of session move. The first one is the cook. So cook, why don't you go ahead and read your start of session move for us?
Okay, so if I'm fully stocked and regularly cooking, at the start of the session, roll with grit, and on a 10 plus, I make enough to cover my obligations and a little surplus for myself, and then on a 7 to 9, I cover my nut, but I have to mark stress to use up at the last of something vital. On a miss, something's gone wrong. One of my lab's problems comes to bear in plena forza, so in full force.
Full force, yeah. And remember here that everybody starts with 2 stress. So you already have 2 stress marked to start. We'll talk about what that means, but in general, the idea here is that if you're part of a criminal conspiracy, always, it's a stressful way to live. So you're going to start with 2 stress. Let's see if you end up marking more as a result of being the cook. So I added the Dice Stream app. If everybody needs me to roll dice for them, I can. But the Dice Stream app's really great for it because the audience gets to see it as well. So if you can add it as well, that's pretty useful. It should have come up and said, Mark has just added this.
Yep, just got it.
But I got distracted. Do we have to click anything on that, or that's?
It'll come up in the left bar if you've added it. If you're having trouble with it, let's not worry too much about it. I can roll for you. But
okay, great. Oh, there we go. Okay.
It's continuing to ask me for permission, which is annoying.
It wants to know. Are you sure? Are you sure?
Yes. Oh, you know what?
Oh, no.
Ah!
Well, we'll come back to it. It's cool.
This app did not load because there appears to be something wrong with it. Well, that sort of stands to reason.
That's cool. I can throw some dice here. We'll see.
I'm back. Sorry you guys lost me there.
No problem. It looks like some folks are having trouble loading it, so don't worry about it. I've got dice for you here.
Oh, there we go. All right.
You got it? Good. Cool.
I got it. So I do just click twice on the 6.
Yep.
And then I add my plus.
That's right.
Okay.
Well, no, don't worry about the plus. Just roll it, and we'll add it.
Okay. All right. All right. Ooh, that's not fun. So that gives me
out of the way.
6.
That's a 6. All right, perfect. Yeah. Cool. We'll come back to that. Okay. The counter in the corner, it occurs to me, actually would be great to use for stress. So go ahead and put 2 in there for the stress, and that's a good start. So we'll come back to you, David.
Okay. So wait, I add 2 stress already?
No, you start with 2 stress always. So,
okay.
So just start with the 2, and then we'll talk about what goes wrong with your lab.
Okay.
That's cool. A good place to start.
Great.
All right. So let's go over to Maria. So Maria, you also have a start of session move. Can you read it for us?
Let's see. Is that the stretch of downtime during play?
That is right. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Whenever there's a stretch of downtime in play, or between sessions, roll with hustle. On a 10+, you juggle your responsibilities with grace, clear your stress track. 7 to 9, one of your obligations, your choice, becomes unmanageable. The MC will tell you who will be able to assist. On a miss, your secrets and obligations clash with disastrous and obvious results.
Great. Cool. So what's your hustle?
My hustle is +2.
Great. So I'll roll for you because I know you're having trouble with the app. So
Yeah, thank you.
let's see how it goes. So that's a total of 6 plus your 2 is an 8. So you're in 7 to 9. So pick one of your obligations that's been giving you trouble lately.
Let's go with Izzy.
Okay. Great. Cool. So Izzy's been quite the handful lately, and more than anything, she's maybe she's like teething, or there's something that's not entirely her fault, right? That she's just been a terror, and you have not slept in weeks, right? Like it's been for really intense parenting, and especially with the extra hours you're pulling at work and things.
Izzy's my sister, not my.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Letty. No, perfect. Yeah, sorry. Izzy. Yeah, okay, so Izzy, she becomes unmanageable. Okay, great.
She's teething.
So she's teething. Let's do that as a scene then, because I think it'll work well to get started with that. But I think she has gotten to the point where she is digging into your finances, and I think she's she's not going to get a hold of your secrets. So let's say instead that you need to get Izzy out of the house, right? You know that she's been really on edge. She's been looking through a lot of your stuff. You're having to like hide things like your checkbook, right? Because Izzy's constantly going through stuff. And what you really need is to get her out of the house, and maybe even like seeing somebody, or you need to get her out of this funk. And the person that you think would probably best accomplish this, that's kind of floating through your social circles, is probably Yolanda. You think Yolanda might be the right person to do this. She's not connected to the cartel in any way, so she's not going to accidentally spill anything. She can get Izzy out of the house, right? She can get things moving, so that maybe she can have a heart-to-heart with Izzy, and just another woman who's going to be able to talk to her and deal with her, and not have it be constantly your problem. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Awesome. Good. Cool. So let's come back to the cook and
all right.
Get started there, and we'll go from there. But everybody, make sure you have that 2 stress marked down, and we'll talk about what happens with stress as we build it up a little bit. So so where do you usually cook? Armando?
I mean, I cook probably more in the kind of the semi-industrial, light industrial part of town. So it's kind of like, I'm obviously not going to park right in front of the bimbo factory or outlet or distribution center.
Yeah.
But, in an area where if somebody just sees a random bimbo delivery truck, they're not going to think twice about it. And I'll do it at night almost always, because there's going to be less traffic in those areas. So
Great.
That's where I'll cook. Yeah.
Now tell us about the troubles. I know that you have exposed, meaning that you.
I have toxic also, and then the one in general, unstable. The other one.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. And you also have indebted, right?
Yeah. Right. That is what was indebted. So basically, so for exposed means that it's poorly secured, poorly locked down against intruders and thieves. Toxic means it's basically poorly set up to contain spills.
Yeah.
And then those are the 2 ones that I think as far as troubles. And then of course, unstable and indebted.
Great. So here's the thing: your cook goes great. Now, you're a pro.
Yeah.
You've been doing this for a long time. You stack up the drugs, no problem. You know, everything's going great. I mean, literally, like you really have this feeling like you've mastered this thing, right? And you know, you have everything ready to go. And when the SUV pulls up at the appropriate drop point to pick things up, um, you are a little surprised to see that the driver roll down his window, and as two guys get out of the SUV and come over to grab the duffel bag and everything, the driver says, "I want you to get in the SUV. Like get in the SUV."
They're like, why? This is my truck. Come on, you know this doesn't happen before. Like, you come, I drop off the cook, and you take off. You know, I'm tired, man. Look at me. Look at the bags on my eyes. I gotta go sleep.
It's great, cool. So first thing is, it sounds to me like you want to get some information out of this guy, and it sounds to me like you want to get the truth, right? Like you want to know. You're a little suspicious. So they would have a move for this called "Get the Truth Out of Someone." And sometimes I might ask you, is that a real question? Like if I say, "Hey Jared, how was the weather on your trip?" I'm not really getting the truth out of you, right? Like I'm not really pushing on you to know, right? This sounds like you're getting the truth, though, yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
Great, cool. Yeah, go ahead and make your roll.
Okay, so that's going to be hustle.
Yeah, you might want to clear your dice first. So
okay.
Yeah.
Clear. All right. There we go, and here we go. Nice. All right.
Damn. Okay, great. Now this move is interesting. Yeah, you can never absolutely tell if someone's telling the truth, but you can limit the ways in which they lie. So the first option here is that you can keep them from like confusing you with falsehoods. Okay, meaning that they're not going to be able to lie to you outright. Okay?
Right.
The second option is that you can keep them from basically omitting the truth, like telling you true things, but not enough true things. Right. And the third option is you can keep them from stonewalling. Now, stonewalling is broad, like they could talk about something else or try to change the subject or whatever. But if you pick that option, it means they can't try to change the subject. They have to be here in this conversation.
All right. Well, I think I'm gonna take. They can't stonewall me.
Okay.
And they can't confuse me with falsehoods.
Great. So go ahead and lower your stress by 1, because every time you get the truth out of someone and it works, like your whole world, the world is stable and people will, you know things and the world is less uncertain. So you do get to clear 1 stress. And he says he just rolls down the back window, and you can see that El Narco and Oso are in the back.
Oh shit!
Both there. He says, "Boss is in the back."
Oh, okay. Hey. All right. Yeah, no problem. Here, just let me lock up the truck, and we'll be as fast as I can. No problem. Like perfect. So yeah, I go over, make sure the panels are all closed off. Grab my little light jacket, and then I'm like, all right, let's do it, and get in the SUV.
Great. So let's cut. So you're looking intimidating there. Don Ramon is there. He also looks very intimidating. They have one of those SUVs like the Kingpin has, right, where the seats face each other, right? So you're sitting on the other side across from them, and we'll come back to you in a moment. I want to skip over to the Espulsa and see what she's doing. So you know that you want to talk to Yolanda. Is that something where you would just approach her directly, or would you want to set it up through your husband? How would you go about that?
I would invite her to sit down with me at a restaurant.
Oh, perfect. That sounds great. So what kind is Mexican food, or would it be something kind of weird and off? Like how something very typical and traditional, or something like you take her for sushi, which is really weird, right?
Traditional, since I'm asking her for a favor.
Yeah, great, cool. So I think we just open up on the two of you, and Yolanda's just going on, and she's like, and then Armando is just so sweet. He the other day he brought me 2 loaves of bread, and I said one of them was too stale, and so the next day he brought me another loaf, and he's just the best. I know Chewy. Chewy's going to be that kind of boy. I hope you know that. That he's going to be the kind of boy that cares about you. You can be 80. He's going to care, and his dad is the same way. I mean, I remember, she's just going on and on, just kind of like ad nauseum about how
Light
much
smile, head bob,
Yeah.
light smile.
Yeah. Great.
I wait until she pauses for breath.
Yeah, so eventually she does kind of stop, and then she takes a piece of bread or takes a tortilla and butters it a little bit and like kind of like but how are you? Like how are you doing? I know you're so busy.
Oh, I thought you'd never ask. Well, so I've got so many irons in the fire. I am just always running ragged. Work has me on extra duty this week, and you know what? My poor sainted sister. She has no one to watch over her this week. She depends on me so much, and you know that Jesus can't be around too often. My children, they can't take care of their aunt. She needs someone who could be a sympathetic, understanding shoulder to cry on for a bit.
Well, I think that's what's so great about you taking her in. I mean, honestly, like, your whole family just has done so much for her. I mean, a lot of people would have just left her to do what she does by herself, but, I've always said, though, we haven't given you all the last name yet. So, let's see, why don't we do Balderas? It's a good one. Balderas. So, Jesus Balderas, Maria Balderas, right? And
How do you spell that?
Balderas, Balderas.
Okay.
And I'll put it in the chat as well.
Right.
And so she's the whole Balderas family is just, you all are just really doing right by her.
Yes, I am so glad that you said that, because family has to stick together, and family does for family. And I would not ask this if I had any other choice, but could you help? Could you help me watch my family? I wouldn't ask this if I didn't think the world of you, if I didn't think that my family would be safe in your hands.
If you need me to take Chewy or Letty, that's no problem. I mean, I have to work tomorrow, but on Saturday I can take the two of them. Maybe I'll take them to the park or something. I mean,
they're fine. Chewy has school, and Letty has her play group, but it's really Izzy that I'm worried about.
What do you want me to do?
Could you be her girlfriend?
Just
be a friend who's a girl.
She understood you, right? I mean,
Okay, right.
She still thought that was weird, but then you're extra weird on top of it. She kind of looks at you. So let's make the move. So this sounds to me like you're pressuring her, okay? And I want to draw a distinction here between making an offer and pressuring someone. So making an offer is when you do things like, I will pay you $10,000 to take you to the airport right now, right? If one of your friends said that to you, like, I will pay you $20 to take me to the airport, you'd be like, oh, come on, don't insult me. Like, we're friends. I'll take you to the airport. Come on, right? There's a difference between sort of business transactions and friend transactions or family transactions. Right. And so this is you're putting pressure on someone, right, is different. Now, the interesting thing here is note that violence, when you threaten violence, you're not making an offer. Right, you're putting pressure on someone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So tell me here, you're putting pressure on her here. Let's roll with hustle. Why don't you read the move for us so that we're all on the same page?
All right. Let me pull that up. Pressure someone. When you pressure someone to go along with you, roll with hustle. On a hit, they see your point. They have to go along with you for now, or mark stress. 7 to 9, you're both caught up in it. You mark stress no matter their choice.
Great. So the one thing to note here is that when NPCs mark stress, it's kind of like catastrophic. Like they can only do it once or twice. Right. You all can do it however much stress you have, but NPCs can only do it once or twice before it's just too stressful and they need to blow off steam. Right? So it's sort of like harm in Apocalypse World, right? Like you can take a bunch, NPCs can only take some. So yeah, go ahead and let's make the move. So what's your hustle again?
+2.
Great. And that's a total of 8 plus 2 is 10. So
nice.
They see your point and you don't have to mark any stress, but she can mark stress to shut it down. So you see her really thinking about it. Yes, fine, of course, yes. What do you want me to do?
She needs to get out. She's been cooped up for so long. She's going loco. You know how it is when you sit around the house and you feel sorry for yourself, and I can't blame her for feeling sorry for herself, but oh, she needs a breath of fresh air, and I trust you.
Okay, okay. So she looks at her watch. I have the rest of the afternoon off.
Oh,
Maybe we go back to your place now, and I see if she wants to get out of the house for a little while and run some errands with me.
that would be perfect. That would be. God bless you. God bless you.
Awesome, great, cool. All right, let's cut back to the car. So there's like a tense silence in the car. You know, Don Ramon is looking at his nails, waiting. Also, I assume also looks similarly intimidating.
Blank.
Eventually,
But yeah, that's if you know him, that's intimidating.
says Armando, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing my best to put up a facade of being attentive and respectful and knowing my place, and I am fighting. I've got that like the heavy eyelids. Like I'm doing the thing where it's like, like I could nod off at any second, but I know that like that would be a big problem. So it's like doing these kind of like face stretches and like just trying to. It's been it was a long night. Was a good cook, but it really takes a lot out of me. So I'm just kind of waiting to see. I'm looking for also for any clues or any cues to sort of as to how what's going on.
Sure, sure. Do you want to read him? Like, is it the kind of thing where you're
I
actually
do. I
sizing him up?
definitely want to read him because it's kind of like, I've gotten into the big black SUV with Oso, and I've
Yeah,
gotten into the SUV with other people, but like with him and Don Ramon at the same time, that's like,
yeah.
yeah.
So go ahead and let's size someone up. So you're gonna roll with savagery.
Okay. All right. And my savagery is probably not. Yeah, I'm just straight up roll here. So let's see how
Yeah.
that goes.
And on a hit, you're gonna get some questions. On a 10 plus, it's more questions.
Okay, so great. I got a hit, 10.
Okay.
So,
Now, before you choose, right, because he's here, Oso could interfere, right? And the
right.
way that interfering works is that also, if you want to interfere, and you don't have to. This is not a particularly tense situation. But if you did, you would wager stress. You would bet stress. And if you were successful, then you don't have to pay the costs of that stress. And if you're not successful, you do have to pay the cost. So is this a more place where you'd want to wager some stress to get an advantage? No? Cool, cool. Yeah, so go ahead and ask 2 questions off the list.
All right. Let's see.
Sorry, 3 questions. Go ahead and ask 3 questions.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. What does Oso wish that I would be doing right now? Like, what does he need me to be doing? And then
Shut up. Don't say yeah. That's
yeah.
it.
Okay. And then I guess sort of in this situation, what are my strengths right now? Like what am I going to be able to?
Well, that's actually reading other people. What are your characters?
Okay.
What are his immediate weaknesses or strengths?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay. What does he intend to do next? Like what kind of looks like the next move? Is he looking like he's antsy? Is he kind of like anticipating that something's going to go down? That's I want to see if he's got that look that he's had before when shit gets heavy.
Yeah. So what does Oso intend to do next here?
The impression you get is that Oso, though, to anyone who didn't know him, he doesn't look any different at all. But we've got history, and you know that actually this is Oso looking really stressed out, very concerned, and unsure of himself.
Okay.
Not sure what El Narco wants either of us here for. So, yeah, it's pretty. You get volatility, I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's on edge. He's waiting.
Yeah.
He's waiting to make his move. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that answer the question, Will?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's yeah.
Yeah.
And then I've got, I guess, one more. So I don't know. I know what his strengths and weaknesses are. How can I show him dominance or submission? That was kind of answered earlier, right? Which is just sit tight and shut up. And then I guess how can I get him to do something? Well,
Remember that you
how
get
can
a
I get him to relax?
sure. But also remember you get a +1 when you act on the answers. So
Oh,
remember
okay.
that if you ask what his immediate strengths and weaknesses are, it means that you get a +1 when you act on them.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah. All right. Well, I guess, yeah. I want to know what I can do to like get him to like relax and calm down, and
Cool.
like be get make sure that it's not the itchy Oso. It's like the cool, calm professional that I know him to be at his best. So
Um, yeah, and just stay quiet. Only answer exactly the questions that you are asked, and don't volunteer anything. And then I will protect you.
okay.
Perfect. Good. Okay. So Don Ramon says, Armando also here tells me that you're very trustworthy.
Absolutely. Yes. Completely.
If I remember correctly,
I'm sorry.
you've been working for me now for 10 years.
Yes. Yes, indeed. 10 very, very good years that I am thankful for. Like, you know.
So he's a very, like, if Oso looks kind of beat down and broken down, he looks almost like he's too well held together. Like he's he's not exactly an easy life, but he's he wears a suit. He's very clean shaven. His hair is thinning a little, but it's kind of kind of perfectly parted to the side. And he looks at you and he says, "You owed us money." And then eventually you didn't, and you stayed on. Why did you stay on, Armando?
I stayed on. That's a good question, Don Ramon. And I stayed on because um, I know that the work that I do is good, and I'm a loyal person, and you know, I see no reason to leave.
Okay,
There's,
so that's to justify your behavior, right? I mean, you're trying
yeah,
to sell him on this story.
yeah.
Whether
I'm
it's
saying,
true or not,
like, hey, it's like why I'm a loyal person, and I know this is I do good work for you, and there's no reason to leave,
great. So yeah, make the move. So let's justify, and
So,
for justify your behavior, it's when you try to justify your behavior, roll with face. For
okay,
NPCs on a 10 plus, they accept your logic but might have clarifying questions. On a 7 to 9, they have doubts, but they'll let it slide for now.
oh boy, all right. So face is my -1.
Yep.
It'll be fun, and let's see. All right, did that? No, hold on. All right, so that's a 6.
Great. So yeah, you say this like my work is so good, and I just it's been great, and like it maybe isn't really working. So remember, just like you can interfere, you can also help. So
Mhm.
also, are you interested in helping your nephew out of the jam here?
Yeah, I think this is the time.
Okay. So
But
here's how it works. So you're gonna wager stress. You're gonna wager up to. You can never have more than 5 stress. You can never wager more than 3. Okay. So when you wager it on a 10 plus, you pay no cost, right? You help him, you give him a +1, and there's no cost for you. On a 7 and 9, you still give him the +1, but you pay the entire stress cost. So if you wagered 3 stress, you mark 3 stress. If you wagered 2 stress, you mark 2 stress. If you miss, you pay the stress and you expose yourself to entanglement, cost, or complication. Okay. Now, when you're wagering stress, think about it like during a gunfight. If you mark 1 stress, that's like you maybe shooting a bit and trying to distract someone. Wagering 3 stress is like you stand up and you start firing to get this person off them. So you're exposing yourself to much more danger when you wager 3 than when you wager 1. So how much stress do you want to wager here?
I think 2. About
Okay,
2.
cool. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and roll and add +2 to your roll.
Okay. All right.
So you're kind of like, do you go big here? Oh, wow. Boxcars.
Wow. Feel big.
Yeah, good. So also, what do you do to remember? It's supposed to be kind of big and attention getting. What do you do that kind of rescues your nephew here?
Don Ramon, why would you question my nephew? Our family has always been loyal. He is your best cook. You know this.
Great, yeah. So you basically contradict him in public, right? Like this like you get just almost like get right up in his face, right? Because you're kind of calling him out right here, yeah. So that bails you out. That gets you to a 7, brother. So
Okay.
he has some doubts about you, but he's gonna let it slide, right?
Nice.
And he says, yes, of course. I mean, no offense, Armando. And you can tell that Don Ramon looks upset, not like angry, but like frightened almost. Right? And he says, next to you on the floor, there's a briefcase. You look down and you see a briefcase sort of wedged between the seats.
Okay.
And that briefcase is $500,000. Today, I need you to take that briefcase, and I need you to give it to some men who have taken my wife. Now, also is here because when you give it to those men, he's going to follow them. And then he's going to do whatever is necessary for my wife to come home. Now,
anything for you, Don.
you may not like my questions, but it's important that I can trust you. But if Oso says here, I can trust you, then I can trust you.
You can always trust me, Don Ramon.
He pulls an envelope from his jacket and hands it to you. Okay. And when you open it, you see it's like got the magazine letters, pasted on, right, from with like a glue stick or something, and it says, we have her, bring the money, right, and it gives you a mall that you're supposed to go to in Durango, like the Durango Mall.
Okay.
And as we I think they pull up outside the mall, and he gives you a cell phone that came with the envelope, right, and says, he leans in real close, Armando, I have been with my wife for 37 years. If something happens to her today, her life, my life, are in your hands. I wish you the best. And he leans back, and one of his goons opens the door, and motions for you to get out.
Okay, so I reach down, grab the briefcase. I take a quick glance over to Oso, not really showing anything, but just sort of like in our own way, like there's just that like, oh shit. And I turn around, I get out of the SUV, I start walking, and you just see like this look on my face that like it's just like, oh shit,
Cool.
I did my best to show like stone face, like professional, like got this, and it just falls apart when I walk away.
Great. So it sounds to me like you probably need to mark a stress, right? Like you're this is a very stressful situation. You managed to kind of hold him at bay, but now you're walking down the street with $500,000 in a briefcase, right? It's a pretty tense situation, right? Yeah. Great. And also, Armando holds his hand out to you, like a brother, sort of brotherly handshake, and you can exit the car and pursue it. Cool?
Okay.
All right, great. Good. So we'll come back to you two in a minute. We'll see where Oso gets set up and kind of where you go. Maria, you've gotten Izzy off your plates. You know, they've gone out to run errands. But you and Chewy have to go to the mall for something, for school. What is it that brings you to the Durango Mall on a sunny afternoon, after school? What is it that Chewy needs that you've just got to go to the mall to get?
I assume that he goes to a nicer school, one that might have picture day.
Yeah, totally. Well, I mean, most of the Durango public schools are gonna be pretty solid. I mean, it's a city. It's fine.
So then tomorrow's picture day, and I just found out he wrecked his best jacket.
Yes. Okay. Great. So we're.
Didn't tell me till today. Can you believe the boy?
Can you believe him? Right? Yeah. Like he's just yeah. So I think we open with you, right? You know, you've got him. He's trying on the jacket in the sort of store, and he's fidgeting, and he's really lanky, and because Oso's pretty tall, so he's pretty tall too, right? And he's kind of squirming. And like he's kind of he's like, well, I don't need a jacket, Mom. Like nobody
don't squirm. The ladies will love it.
No, you, Mom. You. Also, nobody wears jackets anymore. And he like takes the jacket off and like puts it over the rack. Nobody wears jackets anymore.
You do, Chewy. So there's one person.
So it sounds like you're putting pressure on him. You're going to go along with this plan, right? Like
I think so, yeah.
You're going to get it. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Roll with hustle. So let's see. I'll pull this out here.
Yeah. So that's a +2. And is this trying to get a family member to do the right thing?
Oh, yeah, totally, I think. I mean, the right thing is judged by you, right? So,
that would be a +1 to that as well.
Yeah, so that's a 10, right? So, yeah, he just kind of sighs, like, And then you see his eyes catch something like out in the walkway, right? And the whole place it's not run down, but it's very modest, right? So the sort of the stores are fairly small. You're in a jacket store. It's not like a big department store like the store that sells jackets.
Yeah.
So you're only a few feet away from the door that goes out into the main part of the mall. And he says, "Is that Armando?" Right? And you look and turn around, and Armando, what do you look like walking into the mall with this briefcase? Like, are you clutching it to your chest? Like, what does it look like for you to deal with this much money?
Yeah, I'm just white knuckle. Like I'm holding it by my side, but like my arm is almost completely stiff because it's just like, yeah, I'm latched onto this thing for dear life. And I'm kind of walking stiffly. And just kind of scanning nervously. This is not in my wheelhouse. This type of cartel business at all.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you see, so you're kind of scanning and you're looking for anything suspicious, maybe. Like you want to see if there's anything going around here. You really wish you had a move, say, that would help you understand where your enemies were. But again, not your thing, right? So you do see, however, Chewy waving at you for the yeah.
Put your hand down.
So Armando, what do you and Chewy get along, Armando?
Maybe because it's like Chewy doesn't want to have anything to do with his dad because he's got that typical teenage like I hate my dad kind of thing.
Well, he also grew up without him. I mean,
exactly.
His dad was absent for most of his life. Right?
So I was around, so I'm kind of like that kind of cool uncle that's kind of like
yeah. You're like 30, he's like 17, like you
play Xbox with him and whatever,
Yeah. So he's like, hey, Dio.
Don't make a fuss.
And he's kind of like he kind of breaks away from you, right? Like almost like and wave and Armando, you see him waving and kind of pushing his mom away and coming out towards you. What do you do?
Oh fuck. I just I speed up. Like I act like I didn't see him, and I pick up my pace, and at the first available turn or intersection, I'm going to do that. Or if that doesn't exist, like I'm going to duck into a store and just
You're trying to just lose him. Perfect. So this is a pushing your luck. This is perfect. Right? You're rather than just kind of grappling with the situation, you're going to try to get through it, right? Like you're going to try to push your luck and get out of here before it gets any more complicated, right?
Exactly.
So the first time we've made this move, it's a little bit of an all-purpose move. If no other move really applies, this is a good one. So it's when you push your luck, roll with grit. On a 10+, fortune favors the bold. On a 7 to 9, things don't work out like you hoped. The MC will tell you how you can turn things around if you act quickly, make an ugly choice, or tough it out.
Okay, great. So, alrighty. So with my grit at 2, that's going to be a 9.
Okay, great. So do you want to help here, Maria? Because you see him kind of trying to get away, and Chewie's trying to catch him. Do you actually want to try to keep Chewie from getting there?
I do, not for Armando's sake, but because I don't think he's a good influence on my son.
Yeah.
Also, he's making a fuss in public.
Yeah, right. It's very embarrassing, right? So how many stress do you want to wager here?
I will wager 1 stress.
Okay, great, cool. So roll +1.
All right.
And I guess I'm rolling for you, so let me get that up and going. Oh.
So I take a stress.
Wow. You take 1 stress for sure, so it's going to go up to 3. But you still expose yourself to cost, complication, or harm. So you grab Armando's arm, right? You grab him, right?
Chewie's or Armando's?
Sorry, Chewie's arm.
Right.
Chewie's arm. Yeah, you grab Chewie's arm, and you're sort of, this stresses you out. I mean, you're in public, you're grabbing him, right?
Yep.
And then in front of 3, 4, 5 other people, Chewie turns to you and he just kind of pulls his arm away, and he says, "Stop treating me like a baby," right? And says, he says something really hurtful. He says something like, I don't care that Dad's back, right? Armando was a better dad than he was anyway, right? And like storms out of the. I mean, that's clearly just false, right? Like Armando's not a particularly great dad to begin with, right? Yeah. But he just, and he just storms out of the jacket store and just kind of leaves you kind of speechless. I'm gonna have you mark another stress.
Okay.
So yeah, because that just cut. Yeah, that boy. Right? Okay, cool. So before we get to Armando, I want to just call out some of. Well, let's finish up with Armando, and we'll see where we are. So,
Okay.
So Armando, you kind of out of the corner of your eye, you see Chewie wrestle himself away from his mom, from Maria, and he's just making a beeline for you. You know he saw you. You know he's going to catch up with you unless you break into a full run. So he's very close on your heels. At this point, you're going to have to act quickly to make something happen to get away. But you have a moment before kind of impact, right? Like you have a moment. So what do you do?
You know what? I'm going to turn and I'm going to walk over to him. I'm going to try to meet. Like, I know he's coming at me, so
yeah.
I want to meet him where it's kind of like out of earshot, right, from Maria. And I'm gonna have him come up to me, and I'm just gonna stop and look him right in the eyes, and I think this is probably gonna be a pressure someone if I can do that. I'm gonna say, look right into his face and just like not my normal like, hey Chewie, what's up? Like I'm gonna be very stern and serious. I'm gonna look right into that. I'm gonna say, Chewie, I know your dad wasn't around for you, okay, when he was in prison, and you kind of look, but. This is really important right now. This is your time to be a man, okay? There's a time that comes in every boy's life where you've got to be a man, that time. So you need to turn around, okay, and just don't say anything. Maybe tell your mother that I was here, buying a present. You just need to walk away.
It's perfect.
Walk away.
It's great. All right, let's do the pressure, man. That's great. So you're rolling with hustle, trying to pressure him to back up, right? That's great.
Right. All right. Oh, hold on. Why? Oh, I don't have any dice selected. I'm sorry.
That's okay. The system's a little weird, but it's cool.
Yeah, I haven't used this before, but all right. That is going to be an 8.
So yeah. So he says, what? Why?
I said, it's bigger than you think, okay? There's a lot at stake right now, more than you know. I'll explain it to you tomorrow, but you just got to walk away, okay?
No, I thought you were different. I thought you listened to me, right? And he just sort of like, you see him just sort of backing up, like he'll do it. right?
Oh.
But like you take a stress, like you watch his heart kind of break, right? As like you just like punch him right in the feels, right? Like and yeah, he kind of and you see him like his eyes are filled with tears as he kind of breaks, and then he doesn't go back to his mom. He kind of just goes into the crowd. Right?
Oh shit.
Cool. So let's cut over to Oso. So Oso, you're sort of tailing. You know, people maybe know what you look like. You're not sure. You don't know who the kidnappers are, right? And if there's anything particular you want to know about the kidnappers, let me know. Like I can fill you in. Like I'm sure if you had something specific that I haven't said, let me know because Don Ramon would tell you whatever you would want to know, right? But he's given you basically all the information he has. The letter. She is missing. She's been missing for about 2 days. At first he thought she was just, away or on a trip or something, but she had not come home when she was supposed to. Nobody knows where she is. She had a security detail there. Nobody's seen them, right? The guy that's with her, right? And the letter was delivered in an unmarked envelope, right? And with the cell phone and all this stuff, right? So basically everything he knows. Where do you set up shop? I mean, do you just kind of trail him? What does it look like for you? Because you got to keep some distance, but what does it look like for you to set this up?
Okay, so I have among my gear a tracking device and surveillance gear. So is it reasonable that I would have, I think probably without Armando even knowing.
Oh, I love it.
I'd love to plant both of those things on him. So he's got a mic maybe like under his shirt clipped to the back of his belt. There's somewhere like that. Like I just kind of sleight of hand. So I don't know. I think I would have to mark a stress for this too because I just heard everything my son just said in that whole situation going down. I don't punish myself, but I heard all of that.
That's beautiful. Yeah. So you clipped the little thing to Armando's wearing like a jumpsuit, right? So you just clipped it to one of his little pockets or something, and dropped the tracking device in another one of his pockets. And you just heard that whole thing. So we see you kind of like listening, right, in the shadows. Yeah, mark the stress. That's fantastic. So actually, before we jump any further, let's be clear about stress. Because I know we got some folks that are up to 4. So here's how stress works. It's going to go up and down, but to make it go down, you have to take what's called a stress move. There are 4 stress moves. They are they're not pleasant. Like they are things that relieve stress, but definitely come at a cost. The first one is verbally abuse or shame someone. So that's way different. Like what you did to talk to Chewy was not verbally abusing or shaming him, but you were kind of being straight with him and trying to pressure him. Imagine if you'd come up and like, hey, you stupid fucking kid, like what are you doing? Go home. Right? Like, what the hell is wrong with you, right? Like, verbally abusing or shaming someone. And it has to be somebody you care about, right? Second thing you can do is you can lose yourself in a substance. And remember, that's not like having a toke of a joint. That's like getting drunk, right? Like, not even like 1 or 2 drinks. Like, you are committed to getting drunk, right? You can also do it with cocaine or meth. We'll talk about that if folks want to pursue those options. Drugs will almost always clear your stress, but they come with serious costs. So verbally abusing or shaming people, sometimes it goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. But drugs almost always clear your stress. They just have separate costs. There's a new move that I included in the additional mechanics for you all, and it's basically confess your sins to a parish priest. So you actually go to church, you confess, and the church will offer you some penance. If you hit the 7 to 9, you got to perform that penance before you get to clear the stress. And then finally,
I love that you roll hustle for that.
Yeah, you roll hustle for that, right? You're like, how much you can convince the priest, but it's not that big a deal. And then finally, there's a issue a beatdown. Like you just beat somebody out, and this is different than getting in a fight. Getting in a fight is an even thing. A beatdown is you have some significant advantage. Okay, so if you end up with 5 stress anytime you are stressed out, when you are stressed out, I can call for you to make a stress move at any time. I can't tell you which stress move to make. That's up to you. But I can tell you that it's time, and you have to do it right away. Okay? It means that sometimes you might have to leave a scene to go get drunk, or interrupt a conversation to go confess, right? That kind of thing. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody?
Yep.
Yep. Cool. Sometimes people hit on these anyway. Like they're not even trying to clear stress. They're just doing things they do. But if you want to clear stress, that's how you do it. And remember that the advantage of keeping your stress manageable is you get to choose when you use your stress moves instead of me choosing when you use your stress moves. That's the big advantage. Okay. All right. So Oh, so you're outside the mall, kind of looking in through the windows. Cool. So
Yeah, taking advantage of the fact that I have the electronics. So is it reasonable that I could have a vehicle? Maybe my truck is here.
yeah, sure. You
Yeah.
could have driven your truck. Maybe had you meet them at the mall. Then you went to get
Yeah.
Armando. You came back. Your
Is
truck
that
is here for sure. Yeah,
okay? Just so that I'm not standing around looking at screens and being too obvious. So
yeah.
I
So you
keep that
actually
subtle.
cool. So you're in your truck.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
which is near the entrance to the mall, but like not actually at the entrance, I guess. Um, so I keep it together. Uh, Chewie is on his way back to his mom, so I feel better about that. Uh,
Or so you
Armando.
think.
Well, that's what it sounds like. That's what it
Yeah,
sounds like. I don't
so
know
it
that.
sounds like. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Question about uh, Don Ramon, his wife's security guy. I
Yeah.
would definitely know that guy. Was he solid? Like he was a good.
Yeah, that's Flores. I mean, he was fine. She didn't like a lot of Don Ramon's guys. Right? I mean, they're killers, right? I mean, they're not really nice people.
Right.
She liked Flores because he seemed kind, and often you thought he was sloppy. So, certainly not somebody you would suspect of betraying Don Ramon. That's not the first place your mind goes, but somebody that you think would screw something up. Oh yeah. For
Okay.
sure. And let's just be clear, you never rule out anybody as betraying Don Ramon, right?
No. Okay.
Yeah. So you're sitting around, you're kind of waiting for them, kind of making sure you're scanning the parking lot, seeing who's around and what they might be up to. Is there anything particular that you're looking for?
Yeah. Other people in a similar position to me. Is there anybody else monitoring? So I don't know. Is this reading a charged situation? Is what
Oh,
it feels like to me.
totally. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, for sure. So go ahead and read Marar for us.
All right. When you read a charged situation, roll with savagery. On a hit, ask the MC questions. Whenever you act on one of the MC's answers, take +1. So my savagery is +2. Oh!
6. Yeah, so you look around, right? And you see these two guys, maybe, I don't know, maybe an aisle over, and they're in a car, I mean it's not a nice car, but it's a newer car. It's black, right? They're both sitting in the car, kind of weirdly, right? And they're looking out, and you think you see one of them kind of put his finger to his ear as if they're listening as well, and then the other guy's talking on a cell phone, and the two of them just read. Something's up with these guys. What do you do?
Well, for now, I'm just going to keep an eye on them. That'll be my main focus. I've still got ears on Armando. I have some idea where he's at. So for now, I'm not going to do anything. But that's my main focus is on those two guys.
Great. So let's cut back to inside. So Armando's standing kind of in the middle of the hall, right in the middle of the sort of promenade
Right.
For the mall, and you see that Chewie's kind of taking off into the crowd. Maria, what do? You see Chewie kind of take off in the crowd after talking to Armando. What do you do?
I can't let that go. After I recover from my shock, I'm storming after.
Yeah, yeah. And Armando, you see Maria, storming out of the jacket store, probably glaring daggers at you. What do you do?
What do I do?
Yeah.
It's bad enough that now I feel like that bond, that I had with Chewie has just been broken, and it's never going to be the same. Last thing I want to do is get mixed up with his mother, so I'm just going to turn around and head back to where I was instructed to go to deal with everything.
All right, cool. And do you let him go, Maria? Do you say anything?
So I assume that I saw the two of them talking once Chewie stormed out?
You're not sure what was said, but yeah, you saw them talking.
Okay, it's obvious that Armando said something to make this even worse.
Yeah, of course.
I think I need to confront him about
great.
this. He's such a screw up, you know.
So yeah, you try to turn around and walk away, but Maria's there, right? Like up in your face.
What did you say to my son? What did you say?
So are you trying to get the truth out of him, or you actually want to know? Yeah, great, cool. So you're going to roll with hustle here. That's +2, right?
Yep.
Okay, and
no.
Just total miss. Just nothing there, right? Yeah. So you're sort of yelling at him, Armando. Do you yell back, or do you just kind of like, what do you do to kind of like, you know?
I just say, look, Maria, just calm down. Like, everything's fine. He's a teenager, you know, like. I know it must be so hard to try to raise him, and it's been difficult for you, and just, you know, be patient with him. He's a good boy, but he's just a teenager, you know, the hormones, everything. He's crazy. He's just crazy right now.
Yeah, as you're saying that, right, you're sort of trying to defend yourself to her, and all these people are walking by and everything.
Yeah.
You feel someone grab your shoulder and press something into your back.
Yeah.
Right. And Maria, you also, a large man kind of steps out of the crowd right behind you. If you try to turn, he's there, right? Mm-hmm. And the guy behind you, he's how tall are you, Armando? Are you fairly short, fairly tall?
Tall, just kind of average, but definitely like skinny, kind of spindly.
Yeah, you're constantly working, right?
Yeah.
So this guy's probably a little taller than you, and you could feel from his grip on the shoulder that he is substantially stronger than you, right? Yeah. And you assume what is being pressed in your back is a gun, but you're not entirely sure. And he says, briefcase.
So there's a little bit of a look of relief on my face, because at least now I'm not arguing with.
I've never been so relieved to have a gun in my back.
Yeah.
And so I say, oh yeah, of course. And I start to relax my grip on the handle of the briefcase.
Yeah, and the other guy who's standing right next to you, Maria, kind of pushes you forward a little bit and reaches down and takes it from your hand.
While I hear this,
yeah, you do hear another voice, right? A male voice out of nowhere say the briefcase.
What are those other two guys I'm watching? What do they do? Do they react to this?
They do. Like, you see both of them getting out of the car. Like both of them are getting out of the car. They look kind of hurried. They're wearing suits, and you're not sure, like. You're not sure what they're up to, but they're both packing. You see them both check their guns as they get ready to go in, and they close the car and they start to walk towards the front doors.
Okay, I'll get out of the truck and follow them at a reasonable distance.
Cool. So what are you bringing with you, right? Because you probably can't take your sniper rifle because that's going to.
No. I've got the Magnum and the stun gun.
Okay.
Cool. Under a light coat.
Okay, great. Why don't you push your luck here? Because you're trying to follow them without being noticed and make it there in time to make a difference here, right?
Okay. So that's grit. Grit is +1. So 9.
Great, cool. So things don't quite work out like you hoped, but you can tough it out. So basically, at this point, I think they're checking their 6, right? They look like they're maybe not military professionals, but these are not pushovers. These are not random folks, right? And they keep checking behind them. You can follow them, but you're going to need to kind of move from car to car, and I think it's going to inflict a stress on you. So you're basically gonna like have to do some extra work to keep them from seeing you and still pursue. Cool.
Okay.
All right. So as long as you tough that out, you're good. So mark the extra stress. All right. Great. Back inside, Maria. This large man has one. I mean, his hand feels. You're not a large woman, right? His hand feels like it's probably stretches across your shoulder blades. Like he's a big dude, right? And he's not particularly tall, but he's very wide and maybe a little husky. And he takes the briefcase with the other hand and kind of looks you up and down, looks back at the other guy at Armando. What do you do?
I look at Armando and I give him this look of, what have you gotten yourself into? Otherwise, I'm not interfering, because I've been in situations where I don't know what's going on, and the best way to get killed is to start making assumptions.
Right.
Right. Good. Cool. Armando?
I guess just a question about the fiction. Did I when I was in the SUV and Don Ramos handed me the envelope, I had a chance to read the whole letter and the instructions.
Yeah.
And I guess my question is this wasn't supposed to go down like this. These were not the instructions.
No, the instructions were to go to the food court and await further instructions.
Yeah.
With await a call on the cell phone, right? And as you're sort of reading that through your mind, the cell phone rings.
Okay. Yeah. I let it ring. I let it ring a few times. I'm sure it keeps ringing.
Yeah, it just keeps ringing. And the guy who's standing behind you, right, who's kind of like, he just kind of looks like he's like the two of you are starting to look kind of awkward together, right? Like maybe one or two are starting to look. He presses for you to walk forward, right? And he motions for the other guy to walk, and you start walking forward, and he tells you, answer the phone.
Okay. All right. So very gingerly, very slowly.
Yeah.
Reach into the pocket.
Yeah.
Pull it out very slowly. Flip it open, and I'm like, hello.
And just it has that kind of like muffled quality, right? It says, where are you? You were supposed to be here 10 minutes ago.
Little delay. But I'll be at the food court in just a few minutes.
So, so this is to justify your behavior. You're like, I was just playing.
Well, and my other thing is to be like, I say I'll be at the food court in just a few minutes. I'm wherever I am in the mall, like I'm on the upper walkway, or I'm outside the, I'm outside the whatever the Mexican equivalent of, or maybe there even is a Bed Bath & Beyond or something,
yeah, totally. There's a Bed Bath & Beyond, right? Like, I mean, it's all, totally. That's great. Yeah.
International, corporations. So.
But it's all in Spanish, right? So,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So you're going forward, right? And
so that's what I say. Yeah, that's where I am right now, and I'll be there in just a few minutes.
Yeah.
So
cool.
I'm hoping that like I can drop my location to like,
Yeah. Roll your justify.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's do that. My intent here is to like, I know I fucked up. I know these are the wrong guys who took the briefcase, but I'm gonna like maybe make them come at where we are now instead. So that's my hope, but I don't know. Oh wow. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. So I think
that's a. Oh no! Did we lose?
Oh jeez.
What?
Oh no! You're back. You're back.
Oh good.
Yeah. So the guy on the phone. Yeah, the guy on the phone says, "Are you fucking with me? You better not be fucking with me. We will kill her. Get here now." It hangs it up. Mark of stress. Like you are, they are gonna fucking kill her, and you've now given the money to the wrong people. And that means that Don Ramon's wife is going to be dead, and that means you're going to be dead, right? So you are. Right. This is bad. All right. So back outside, right? These two guys, right, are starting to get towards the door. Both of them kind of like they're moving very purposefully. You're following behind them.
One of them still on the phone?
No, they're both off their phones. They're both, and remember it's 2007, so nobody has a smartphone. They're all like flip phones, right? They're all they're all kind of like low tech compared to what we think of as a cell phone now. And the two of them are kind of moving, and they're kind of keep looking around, and you're sort of evading them. And by the time they hit the door, they've outdistanced you a little bit, and so you kind of can close that last distance by just sort of running across the parking lot. So you're sort of right behind them as they go into the building. What do you do?
I don't want to run, I don't think, but I'm fine to pick up my pace and actually to go past them as if I'm not paying attention to them at all.
Okay, great, cool. So so you sort of just get to a point where it's clear you're not following them because you're just in the traffic into the mall, right? And as they go in the door and you start getting close to them, one of them opens the glass door. and this guy who's there, like maybe reading a paper or something, turns and just shoots both of them in the chest.
Wow.
Like, blam, right? And when he shoots the first one, the second one goes for his gun, and you can see that in his right hand he has a badge.
Oh shit.
Right? And like immediately, like, blam, second shot goes off, right? What do you do?
I'm just gonna act like a scared citizen and run. Yeah, based on my last reading from the tracking device, is there another entrance that I could get to?
Totally, yeah, we can try that for sure. You know where he is because he said I'm right outside the Bed Bath & Beyond. You know,
yeah,
right? So you know that there's another entrance you could go to. So, yeah, so you take advantage of the chaos, right?
Yeah.
Let's do push your luck. Let's see. Yeah. You're going to try to get away here, not have anybody notice who you are, and find a different entrance.
Okay, so that's grit again, right? It's +1. Okay.
7. Cool. Yeah. So you sort of take off, and as you do so, you see that the second cop, right? Because you're running like right by him, right? Like you're very close. The second cop, or let's say the first cop he shot, which is the one that was a little further away because he shot right to left. Okay. The guy he shot, he's bleeding, and it looks like he's been shot in the chest. You're not sure how bad it is, but he's down on the ground, and his gun is just out of reach. Right, and you see the guy coming towards you. The first cop is definitely dead, and if you just run past here, no problem. You can get around the corner. You can probably evade this. It's not a big deal, but this cop is going to die. Like he's not going to be able to get to his gun, and this guy is going to shoot him.
Yeah, my family's in there. That's where I'm going. Cops, whatever.
Yeah, so he looks at you, and maybe even he says, like, right, like, help, right? Right? Like and you just walk right past him, run right past him, and as you round the corner, you hear like a blam, right? And that's it. Cool, good. All right, back inside. Maria, you're being pushed along now by these two guys.
Mm-hmm.
And the traffic here with the crowds is pretty substantial. It's midday on a Saturday at the mall. They picked this as a public space for a reason. And you hear Armando talking on the phone, and you see kind of the whole situation. What do you do?
Do I have a gun in my back as well, or is it just Armando?
No, it's just Armando. The other guy doesn't have a gun out. He's just a big dude, right? Like you're not sure why they're bringing you along, but he doesn't seem, he's not threatening you necessarily, right?
All right, I'm going to appeal to his sense of filial duty. Hopefully, let me go. I have no part in this. I have to find my boy.
That's great. That's perfect. Now you, if I'm not mistaken, you took Reina del Drama, right?
Yep.
Which means that if you put on an uncomfortable performance to get out of a sticky situation, you can mark stress to just declare it a 10+. So, like, how can you escalate this to get it to be an uncomfortable performance?
I would think I would probably take it to the, my boy has just disrespected his only mother. He is learning such terrible manners, such habits. I need to find him before he goes off into a life of crime.
Yeah, and you can also maybe say something like, yeah, like, you could kill me, it wouldn't be as bad as what my son has done to me today.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. All right. Cool. Cool.
In fact, I wish you'd do it now.
Do it now. Shoot me now.
So I don't have to bear the pain of my son's spite.
Yeah, I don't have to bear the burden of this ungrateful child. Yeah. Okay. Good. So mark the stress. That'll take you up to 5 stress.
Yeah. Unfortunately, so.
Yeah, and the bigger guy kind of like is like panicking, like, what are we gonna? We're not gonna fucking shoot her, are we? Right? Like they're like looking back and forth at each other, and the smaller guy just kind of motions, and he just like literally like pushes you, like, fine, go, like pushes you away. Okay.
Right.
Now
yeah.
you need to make a stress move. Like you're at 5. I'm calling for a stress move now. I think you have an opportunity, for example, to verbally shame or abuse Armando on your way out the door here, if such a thing was of interest to you.
He seems the most obvious target, and
yes,
that would be most likely my stress move in this situation.
Yeah, what do you do? What does that look like?
I lay into you, Armando, and I'm talking about how my son was just fine until you started hanging around with him all the time, and how you've just been turning him against his own family, and oh, how dare you! Don't you understand that there's a place in hell for people like you?
Perfect. Good. Yeah. Go ahead and roll. So, so when you verbally shame or abuse somebody on a 10+, you clear your whole stress track. On a 7 to 9, you only clear 1, and then on a miss, your cowardice is clear. Like the fact that you lashed out at him actually put him at an advantage. So, go ahead and make your move. Let's see. What's your face?
My face is +1.
All right. Cool. So. You rolled a 6. So something about this just rings really false. What is it? Like, what is it about this that just doesn't seem at all? Just seems to like totally miss the mark.
Even though I'm blaming Armando, it's clear that I blame myself for this. I don't know how to get my son back, and it's showing.
Cool. Good. So that's great. So you don't have to mark any stress, Armando. Like it kind of bounces off you, and in fact, you actually have an advantage against her in future conflicts. Until she apologizes, she's
a fat chance.
Yeah, right. Fat chance on that, right? She's going to take -1 ongoing against you until she makes amends. Okay? So any move that targets you, she will actually have a harder time pulling off until she makes amends for what she just said. Okay, cool.
Okay.
All right. So she vanishes. Also, you are like hauling around the side, right? Getting to the side door, running in. And as you come in, right, I think you see Armando, no Maria, right? Armando, 2 guys with him, and they are pushing him down the stairs that lead to, because again, right, like this is the local mall, the area. It's going to lead to like the administrative areas, like away from the food court, which is the other direction, right? Away from the populated areas. They're going to take him down into an industrial kind of area where maybe they kill him, maybe they just let him go. It's not clear. What do you do?
Okay. My stun gun, that's like a taser, right? Like I can. Yep. It's not. Do I have to be right on top of him?
You have to be pretty close. Yeah. I mean, like it's probably got some it's got like those
10,
2. Yeah, the 2.
Yeah, like 10 feet or something.
Yeah,
right?
10 feet's probably right. Yeah.
Okay. So I want to get within 10 feet of these guys and nail the big guy with my stun gun.
Okay, in the crowd, like you want to do it. Yeah. You want to do it in the crowd. Okay,
yep.
Great, cool. So yeah, so they start going down the stairs.
Is there time for me to read the situation before I charge in? I guess.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you see them.
Yeah.
This is a totally different sitch, so I think it's great to use Marar. So go ahead and make that move.
Okay, so that's savagery. Savagery is +2. Okay, so 9.
9, cool.
So Armando, I get...
Armando, if you wanted to help here, you could, but the benefit's pretty small. It's only 1 more question. So
yeah, and I'm at 4 stress. And
you're 4 stress, yeah, totally. So go ahead. Also, give us 2 questions.
Is it 2 or 1? I think it's just 1.
Sorry, just 1 question.
If you wanna, I'd love to ask 2, but
every Apocalypse World game is different. So just 1.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. I guess, which enemy is the biggest threat?
It's definitely the smaller guy, right? The bigger guy is muscle, he's very obvious, but you look at the smaller guy and he looks like a killer, right? Like he is very polished, he knows what he's doing, and whatever is going on here, he looks like he will kill Armando. He'll kill you.
Okay. I want to hit him with the stun gun then.
Okay, great, cool. So yeah, so you're going down the stairs, right? Like there's these kind of circular stairs that go down, and at the bottom is the part of the mall that's just not really well taken care of, right? There's been some stores that have closed, and that's where the sort of like the loading docks are and stuff behind. And as you're going down the stairs, you kind of get a good read on them, and to get close enough to him, especially as you're coming off the stairs, you're gonna have to push your luck, right? Because you're trying to get close to them before they see you, and they're on the lookout. So give me push your luck here.
Okay, that's +1, so 8.
8, cool. So you as you're sort of pushing your way through the crowd, right? The two kind of split up a bit so that they're kind of like they kind of take opposite directions from the stairs so that they're a little further apart from each other. And you realize that if you go for one, the other is going to be out of your immediate range, right? Like he's going to have a chance to react first. You really kind of have to pick. Do you stick with Armando and the little guy, or do you go after the big guy? I think you're going to go after the little guy, but that'll give the big guy a lot of room to come after you.
That's my expectation. Yeah, I actually stun gun on the little guy, and then drop it.
Okay, cool.
And turn to face down this big guy.
Okay, cool. So let's do the stun gun. So yeah, Armando, out of the corner of your eye, you see Oso coming, right? Like down the stairs, right? They don't know what he looks like, but you know what he looks like. And just like their eyes just go right over him, like he's just an old man, right? Like there's nothing there. Yeah, and they split up a bit as the big guy kind of was looking around, like almost like takes point while the littler one starts to take you towards some doors, right? And the big guy has the money. Remember that? Like the big guy has the money, right? So, so you hear Oso like you hear him pull the trigger on this, right? With the stun gun. Oso, go ahead and roll it.
Okay, so this is turn to violence, I assume.
This is turn to violence. Yep.
All right, +2. 11.
Bam. Okay, so you get 3 options. Which ones do you want?
I'm going to avoid collateral damage. Wait, I get 3, right? Yeah.
You get 3, yeah.
Avoid collateral damage, resist stress, and inflict terrible harm.
Okay, cool, yeah. So you catch him in the neck, right? Like you just like you just get real close to him. When you pull the trigger, you just like knocks him to the side, right? And like he seizes up, and the gun actually does go off, right? And because you avoided collateral damage, it goes off into the floor, right? like blam, and people just like immediately scatter, right? Like there's a lot of chaos, right? And everybody goes, like kind of moves, right? This guy kind of like seizes up and falls to the ground. So which is the option you didn't take?
I did not. I suffered little harm. I did not take that one.
You did not take that. Okay, great, cool. So because he has a gun out, right? He is sort of like flailing around and manages to get a shot off at you, right? And like he's kind of flailing, and the first bullet goes in the ground. Armando kind of like falls to the side, and then while he's on the ground, he seems to kind of like get his arm over and shoot at you. Okay, so let's talk about what happens when you get fucking shot.
Getting fucking shot.
Right. So by not choosing suffer little harm when there's a gun in play, you expose yourself to this kind of danger. But the way that get fucking shot works is everything's dependent on the fiction. So let's take a look at what the fiction tells us. So 1, you're going to add 1 for each true statement. It is a handgun or other small weapon. Yes, totally counts, right? 2, the shooter is an amateur or isn't really trying to kill you. I'm going to give you a +1 for that because in this situation, he's not actually like drawing a bead on you and trying to kill you. It's just the gun is going off. You're in the range of it. It's not like an intentional focus thing. And then finally, you have cover, body armor, or bodyguard. You're wearing your body armor. You're under your clothes, right? Yeah. Yep. So you actually have a +3 to this roll. Go ahead and roll.
I don't know if you can have +4, but I also have Duro.
Oh, you can. Yeah, totally. Make it +4. Yeah, because that's a +1 on top of everything else.
Okay, so just roll straight up +4. Okay. Oh, right. Add the dice first. Yes, got it. Okay.
Nice.
13. Yeah, cool. So on a 10+, it's a minor but heroic wound. So I think he just shoots you in the arm, right? Like the bullet comes across, shoots you in the arm. Like you take a bullet in the arm, and you turn, right? Because the other guy's there, right? And yeah, he already has his gun out, right? By the time you turn, and he's got you dead to rights in the sights, right? And I think he opens fire, right? He just pulls the trigger and is shooting at you. What do you do?
I step into it. I'm going for him. So I'm gonna grab the gun.
Well, he's probably, like I said, he's probably now more than 10 feet away because they split up. Remember, so he's too far away for you to grab him like that.
No, yeah, I can't get it from here, but I'm walking directly at him.
Oh, you're just gonna take it and just grab it. Okay,
Yep.
cool.
So
I've been shot so many times.
Yeah.
So the guy who had the money is turning on him now, but the guy who had the gun on me is down.
He's on the floor. Totally. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now
right.
he's sort of frothing at the mouth a little bit. His gun is still in his hand. You're not sure what's going to happen. So yeah, let's while you walk toward him, we'll find out what happens to that in a moment. Armando, yeah, you see this guy on the ground is kind of like seizing. His mouth is all frothy. What do?
I'm gonna grab his gun.
Yeah, great.
I'm gonna grab his gun and I'm gonna turn and I'm gonna open fire on the big dude who's got a bead on my uncle now.
Great, cool.
Like I need to take charge. Everybody else has been like trying to stick up for me, and this is all my problem. This is my mess.
Yeah, great, cool.
I got to be the one to clean it up, clean it up by making it messier. But
Yeah. So the first thing is Oso's going to take a bullet here because he's just walking right into it, right? So go ahead and get fucking shot. This time it is a handgun, but they are trying to kill you, and your body armor works, so you still get the +3. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well.
So that's an 8 now, right? Now, normally I would say that you would be able to help Damien, but it won't matter here. The most you would do is add a +1, so it doesn't do it.
Okay.
We're just going to go right to the consequences. So so here's the thing. You get to pick one, and I get to pick one. Here are the options. It's bloody. You'll die without immediate aid. It's messy. The wound will leave an impressive, ugly scar. Or it's agonizingly painful. -1 ongoing until you get medical attention.
I will take. It's bloody.
Okay, so you're going to die without immediate aid. Cool, great. And I'm going to say that I'm going to do. It's agonizingly painful. -1 ongoing until you get medical attention. Okay, so he just shoots you he actually unloads into you, right? And the first bullet just catches you in the chest, kind of like hits the body armor and like kind of knocks the wind out of you. But the second bullet like catches you in the neck, right? And you sort of like grab it, you try to stay up, and he shoots you in the knee, right? And like he's just kind of all over the place. And the third bullet, he's not like, he's a professional in the sense that he knows how to use a gun, but he's pretty freaked out, and he's just kind of shooting all over. And the third bullet catches you in the knee, and you go down, right? And you're sort of like laying there. Maybe you get a hand up onto the wound, but it's in a lot of pain all over. Now, go ahead and turn to violence for me, Damien.
Okay, all right, let's do this. 7.
7. Okay, so you get to choose some options here. It's a hit.
I'm going to take inflict terrible harm.
Okay.
And I'm going to take I suffer little harm because I gotta stay alive to help out Oso here. Like I don't, that's my number. Take this guy out and then immediately try to figure out how I can help Oso.
Yeah. So you inflict terrible harm. So you unload on this guy. Across this crowded, in this crowded mall, and you catch him right in the you just blam, right? He goes flying backwards, catch him right in the head, and there's just blood everywhere, and you see the briefcase kind of skitter away from him, and and he hits the ground, right? And you mark a stress. You're up to 5, right?
Okay, all right,
and you avoid getting shot. You kind of caught him off guard. But you see that, as you were shooting him, there's several other people behind him who you also shot
Oh.
right? And you're not sure what their condition is.
Right. Okay.
All right, let's cut back to Maria. So Maria, you sort of get away from them, right?
Yep.
You're looking for Chewie, and you're sort of like wandering through the mall trying to look for him. Does he have a cell phone?
I think so. Yes. We have to keep track of him.
Yeah. So are you calling that yet?
Not yet, since I have a feeling he's just going to ignore me for a while.
Yeah. So you're looking.
Also, I'm not
around.
sure what I'm going to say at the moment.
Right. Yeah. You're looking around for him, and that's when the gunshots start. Right. You hear from a little ways ahead of the mall. You hear a bunch of gunshots. And what do you do?
So it's counter to normal survival instincts, but both being a nurse and also being in the business as long as I have, I head towards the gunshots because I have people I care about in this mall. Mostly Chewie, possibly Armando. But really.
Well, you knew Armando was with them, right?
Yeah.
So that's like they might really be there. Yeah. So
yeah, I am going to head in that direction to see if my son is getting caught up in this.
Yeah, totally. That's perfect. I love it.
I have to protect him. You
have to protect him. That's great. So yeah. So let's open on that. So Armando, you trying to apply some medical aid to.
Well, I guess what I want to do. Like, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No worries. I just was hoping to engage Duro here.
Yeah.
Because what I actually want to do is, as soon as I see that Armando has taken out the guy who shot me, because I had only taken a step or two.
Yep.
So I want to turn back, and I grab the guy with the gun, the one that I hit with the stun gun, and before I pass out, I'm going to punch him like 10 times.
Well, so the thing is that so we can do something very much like that. Duro only applies if you actually die. If you miss the roll, you get to do one cool thing.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So the thing about that is he could shoot you in the head, right? And you still just like kind of lumber over there and kill him and then die, right? But no, you're not dead. You're okay, right? Like you kind of like he gets you some I don't know if maybe you take off your shirt or something, Armando, but you get him something, right? For his.
Well, I figure I'm in front of a Bed Bath and Beyond-ish type of place, right?
Oh yeah, there's probably like some towels out here.
Right, there's gonna be like towels or like little throw pillows or you know.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm just I'm working on it, and so this.
Armando,
I don't know if this is a ciencia cabrón.
No, I don't think so. You're just staunching the blood flow, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Maria is upstairs and she's a nurse.
Yeah, we'll get there. Like she's coming down. So you give him something for his neck, right? So when you kind of pull yourself to your feet because you're not unconscious or anything yet. And if you want to issue a beat down to this guy to clear your stress, like you start kicking him or whatever, that's great. Go for it. Make the move.
Okay.
So and then Armando will get to see what you want to do with the briefcase if it's still there.
Oh shit! Yeah, if it's still there.
So that's going to be an 8, but -1, so 7.
7. Okay, cool. So on a 7 you hurt them, but it's not enough. Clear 1 stress. So you sit there and you're just kind of kicking him, but he's not really moving, and it doesn't do anything for you, right? You're just kind of like you just take all your frustration on him. Armando, you look over and you see a woman picking up the briefcase off the ground and kind of looking at it. What do you do?
I yell out with the gun raised, the gun that I just used to make a pretty big mess.
Yeah.
And I just yell, "Put it down!" Like put it down. Over towards her with the gun raised.
Great. Yeah. Go ahead and pressure because I mean, it's a threat of violence, right? Like you're putting some pressure on it. Roll with hustle.
All right. So that's a 7, and my hustle, so that's an 8. Oh boy. All right. So
you can't mark any stress anymore, so it's fine. Right. It just doesn't do anything. You're already stressed out. I think almost all of you are already stressed out, right? Yeah, totally. So yeah, you like she's like what do you like? She almost starts to like talk back to you, right? And starts asking questions. What do you say? That just shuts her up and makes her put the briefcase down.
I tell her that people shouldn't take things that aren't theirs, especially when they belong to Don Ramos.
Oh.
Great, yeah. So she just kind of puts it down, right, and starts to back away. And
Right.
Maria, you're coming down the stairs now. You see that Chewie, or sorry, Oso is kind of like maybe leaned up against the stairs. There's blood all down his shirt. He looks terrible.
Yeah.
And Armando's standing there with his gun pointed at the woman, and she sets down the briefcase. And I assume, Armando, you go get it, right? Like
I go get it, and I'm just like, I'm gonna try to book it to the food court, like, because it's like, Oso's gonna be in better hands with Maria than he is with me around. So, and plus, I'll avoid her, yelling at me some more.
Yeah, great, good. So yeah, you take off down the you put the gun in the back of your pants or something, so you're not running around with a gun, right? And you take off, trying to get to the food court. Maria, what do you do for Oso?
Well, I run as quickly as I can down to Bloodbath and Beyond now, and grab some linens and rush over to him, yelling, what have you done? What have you done, you idiot? What have you done? And I start applying the best first aid I can.
Yeah. Are you shaming him that he's put himself in so much danger, and what would happen if he wasn't?
Not unless you force my stress move
let's hear stress move.
Okay, darn it. That's it. I should never remind you.
Yeah, you're stressed out, right? So yeah, push it.
All right, then I am going to. I am just going to be shaming him because this whole day has gone to pot. My son is dead to me now.
Yeah, exactly.
Armando, is clearly in over his head on something, and now he's got my husband shot. He's going to need a fourth knee. So this is just getting way too much.
Ba-bam! 13. Right?
I'm so sorry, Jesus.
Yeah. So first thing, Jesus, you take the swing, right? I mean, and part of that is that it's not just that she's aggressive or something. It's like she's right. What would happen if you'd gotten killed, right? Like, how old are you? What are you doing out here, right? Like, you're not 20 anymore, right? So go ahead and mark the stress. And,
so I reduced 1 with the beatdown, and then I took 1 down, so I'm back up to 4. Yeah.
Totally, yeah. And for you, Esposa, you actually clear your whole stress track. Like,
right.
You sort of like, you really push that knife in there. You really get him, and you feel like you have some control again. Right, so you're back down to 0. Good, cool. All right, so we'll come back to you two in a moment. I assume you try to flee the scene, right? That's before real cops show up, right? And we'll see what happens with Armando. So Armando, you run to the food court, right? And as you get there, the phone rings, right?
Yeah,
and,
I pick it up. Yeah.
What's with all the shooting?
Don't worry about it. I have the money. Everything's good.
Okay. So do you see the orange Julius, right? And you see there's an orange Julius at the food court, and take the money and leave it behind the plant next to the orange Julius.
Okay. So I do exactly that.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. You put it back there. Do you you're still on the phone with them, right? And do you say anything else, or do you just sort of back away, like that's it?
I say, all right, we carried out our part. Now you carry out your part. Everything's good. Money's here. Like, we're good, right? She's safe.
Leave the money.
All right.
Leave the food court. Leave the mall. She'll be released at the time and place of our choosing.
Okay. All right. So I do that.
Great. Cool. So Oso and Maria. So if you leave, of course, you won't be able to do the job Don Ramos said. But what is your plan at this point, Oso?
Woman, wrap up the knee. I need to keep going.
You don't talk to me that way. But of course, I'm doing it while he's I'm doing him out there.
Yeah, great. So why don't we just jump ahead to you trying to where you catch Armando leaving the food court, right? And you're kind of bandaged up. Maria, do you go home at that point? Are you like out of here?
No, Chewie's still around here, and also my husband has been fucking shot, so I am going to tail him now.
Okay, great, good. So you kind of like just sort of hobble your way away from the scene of the crime.
I got my stun gun.
You got your stun gun, right? Still, yeah. You've got a gun, right? Your regular gun too, right? Your Magnum as well, right? Yeah, great, cool. So you catch Armando, who's coming out of the food court, and you're heading the other direction. So what do you say?
Good work. Way to keep your head. We may come out of this. We may come out of this.
All right, I'm calling for a stress move on Armando's part. Either you verbally harassed or shamed your poor uncle, who's just totally screwed up taking care of these two guys and left you in all this danger, or it's time for you to pursue some other stress relieving activities.
Yeah. I kind of had an idea in mind for that.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, like I know that I always like take the tippy top, like absolute like 1% or 1% of every batch that I cook.
Yeah.
And I keep it, hermetically sealed for just matter of it's like a winemaker has a library of his vintages.
Yeah.
So I do that just because it's a matter of pride. I'm a craftsman.
Do you carry some on you, or is it like you're going to go back to your lab? Okay.
Yeah. But so I think that I'm going to like leave them all. I'm going to do the incredibly good Coke, and I was thinking I should throw myself at someone I shouldn't.
Well, hold on. We're going to roll and see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. Oh, right, we got to roll that. Okay.
Like, I actually think it's even better if you just do the Coke in the mall, like at.
Yeah, I think I'll do that in the mall.
Yeah. Like you're all cool and collected, and then you get in the bathroom, and you're like, like what? Right? Yeah. Like you're like trying to line up the line and like do the whole. Yeah, perfect. Good. So
my hands are shaking, and I'm like, yeah. All right.
So I think it'd be great if we'll come back to Oso in a minute. Who's probably like gotten a jacket so that he's not his zombie, right? Like he's totally laying in wait. But you're gonna do this. You're gonna do this drug move. So go ahead and read the drug. Lose yourself in a substance for me.
So I got an 11. So yeah.
That's great, cool. Yeah. So on a hit, you get what you need. Clear your stress track. On a 7 to 9, the drugs take a toll. Make a drug move off the appropriate list. So if you rolled a 7 to 9, you have to do one of these cocaine things. But since you didn't, hey man, sometimes drugs are just awesome.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to. I mean, I am in a mall, so I could go spend my money carelessly.
Well, you might do those things anyway. But the point is that if you hit a 7 to 9, you have to do one.
I have to do one.
Yes, I get to pick one that you have to do.
Okay.
Here, you kind of get away free and clear. Like we learn something really interesting as an audience. Like you do drugs. That's an interesting thing to learn. But what happens is you're doing that mostly now. Like we cut away from you, and there's no immediate consequences, right?
Okay.
Like you dodged a bullet this time, right?
Okay. Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent.
So also you're sitting.
One of my trackers is in the briefcase, right?
I thought you put the tracker on him. And not the briefcase. But if you want to say you put it in the briefcase, that seems reasonable to me.
Well, no, both, because I have multiples, right?
Oh, yeah, cool. That makes sense, yeah.
Because that was my job.
Yeah, totally.
To track these guys. So my assumption, if they're at all competent, is that they're going to ditch it soon, but I at least want to get a sense of their direction. So. Well,
they haven't gotten it yet, right? Like you got there pretty quick, so they haven't necessarily taken it yet.
Okay.
So when you kind of check your scanner or whatever, right, you can see that it's close by.
Yeah. So like you were saying, I think I would go into the nearest clothing store because Maria has patched me up a little bit. I go into the nearest clothing store. I need a new jacket and a new pair of pants.
Yeah.
And just do that as fast as you can. Yeah.
Great, cool.
Bring out the knife and cutting things off of me. Just as fast as I can. Yeah.
That's great. So why don't you push your luck to see if you can get all that done before they come back.
All right. So this is +1. So 8.
Great. Cool.
Just to clarify, did Maria's help count as medical attention?
Yeah, you're good. You're not gonna immediately die. I mean, we established she's a nurse, right? So it's like she's got you patched up enough that you're not gonna die. You need to go to the hospital at some point, but you're not gonna die.
But what about the agonizingly painful? Did she?
That's still gonna be.
So she didn't count for medical attention for that purpose.
No.
Okay, so 7 then.
Okay, cool.
Still, no
Yeah.
difference.
So no difference. So you kind of get enough clothes together that like we we see you coming out of the little store, and you see two people walking away from that space with the briefcase in hand, a woman and a man, both dressed in fairly casual clothing, both headed pretty quickly out the door. The problem is that you're hobbled a bit, right? Like you took a bullet in or around your knee, and pursuing them is going to be particularly challenging. So you can let them go.
I can't be an adventurer anymore.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like you can you can pursue them kind of obviously, right?
Could Maria ask a question at this point?
Yeah, sure.
So she would look to Oso and say, "Who are they?"
This is business, honey. You should not involve yourself. Thank you for your help.
You don't tell me about business. I've been living with business for years. Are you supposed to follow them?
So are you trying to get the truth out of him?
Yes, I
Yeah,
am.
go for it. So let's see. So we're going to roll with hustle, and that's a 11. So if you want to get in the way of that a little bit, you can, but she's going to kind of restrict what you're able to say either way.
Yep. Let's see.
And I think you're stressed out. No, you're not quite. So you can wager 1 stress if you want to try to interfere. Do you want to interfere?
Nope.
Okay, go for it. So what are some of the ways in which he can't lie to you?
He can't stonewall me with silence, and he can't confuse me with falsehoods.
Great. So you can still omit something from the truth, but you do have to speak to it.
Okay. If you stay here, you are in danger. Our son needs you. Go find him and leave me to my business.
But that's sort of stonewalling. You have to tell her something about these people. That was what she asked about. You don't have to tell her the full truth, but you do have to tell her something. Or you could just tell her the full truth if you want. But if you want to hold anything back, the only option she's left you with is for you to tell her less than the full truth.
The men who attacked you and Armando are blackmailing. That's close to the truth, I guess. I don't know.
Who are they blackmailing?
Yeah, I don't think that. No.
Okay, fair enough. That's not actually true. Fair enough. The men who attacked you and Armando have Don Ramon's wife, and I have to get her back. And this means all our lives.
All right, at that, my eyes widen, and I just say, go do what you have to do. And then I walk to look for Chewie.
Great, cool. So do you pursue them aggressively?
No, because I have a tracker on them.
Yep, you have a tracker.
Well, on the briefcase, not on them. So I don't want to give myself away too much. Mm-hmm. So I'm moving. Well, I guess I'm moving as fast as I can with a bullet in the knee. Just toughing it out, which is not fast. But still, I'm following them, but I'm not actually concerned about being able to see them.
Great, cool. So I think they're probably going to lose you in the sense that you won't be able to keep up with them, right? Mm-hmm. And they're going to get away. Mm-hmm. You see them get into a car and drive away from the parking lot, right? And I think we'll cut to a scene with you and Don Ramon, right? And wrap up a little bit for today and kind of see where we'll go to finish up. So I think you find Chewie, but eventually the two of you meet. He actually is totally freaked out by the gunshots and all these things, and hugs you and says he's sorry, and the two of you head home.
I'm trying to make it a teachable moment for him, not to disobey mother.
Right. And then we've seen Armando already go home. So, Armando, where do you go next? Like you did some coke. You're feeling like maybe life isn't so terrible. Where do you go next?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, let's see. Um, yeah, I mean, my main. Well, God, I guess
You can
my
call
lab
me.
is kind of a. I'm sorry.
You could call me if
Yeah,
you.
I think I'll call you and just sort of like check in and be like, Osa's going to know best what the next move is. I mean, I know instinctually that I probably just want to go run and hide and wait for things to blow over, but
Cool.
you know, he's going to know what's best. He's known what's best for me for a while now. So yeah, I call him up and it's like, yeah, um,
Great. Yeah, go for it. So you
yeah,
call him and you're sort of in the parking lot, like watching these people drive away, right? And
yeah.
your phone rings. So yeah, go ahead.
I'm like, hey, Seuss, what's going on, man? What's going on? Like, this is I'm probably talking faster too because I'm completely just
Coked up, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, what's going on, man? Where do those people go? What's going on? Are we gonna be okay? What's happening? Oh my God! You know.
Hold yourself together. And the entrance that we came in, you go back there now. You'll see my truck outside. You wait for me there. I'll be right there.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I turn around and I head back. Well, I guess into the mall or around the mall. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna get back to where his truck was. So
Great. Yeah. So the two of you meet up back there, I think, and you're sort of sitting in the truck, right, with the tracking device,
mhm.
and what do you say? Where do you go?
I give him I give him directions based on the tracking device, and
Oh,
then
you need him to drive, right?
yeah,
Like he's
yeah,
okay.
exactly. So
All right.
he's driving my truck. I'm in the passenger seat, giving him directions, and then I'm gonna call Don Ramon
Okay,
with one
great,
of my
cool.
burner phones.
Yeah, so they don't seem to be ditching the briefcase. The idea of having a tracking device maybe didn't occur to them, right? And
Okay.
so they're not ditching the briefcase. And yeah, you call Don Ramon and he picks up. Yes.
Don Ramon, the ransom has been delivered. Armando, solid. There was some mess. Policia involved. Not sure how, but we know the ransom has been delivered according to the instructions. Tracking device is in place. We are following. Do you have men to assist?
My contacts in the police department said that there are two dead men in the mall. What happened?
There are more than two.
Did you kill them?
That's what. No, I did not kill anyone.
Who did?
Oh,
I will find out for you. But I need more guns. I need more men.
To do what? You're supposed to follow them.
There are obviously others involved in this situation, Don Ramon. This is not. This is even more complex than we thought.
Great. So why don't you justify your behavior there, right? You're saying basically this is a deeper rabbit hole. You can't don't ask me about these questions because this is way complicated, right?
Yeah. Okay. Face -1. As expected. Yeah. Just what I thought.
He says, "Today, I trusted you to deliver this money.
It was delivered, Don.
Is it? The dead men, they are not the ones who took my wife?
They are not the ones who used the cell phone that was given as part of the instructions. There was someone else, I believe the Policia and another party also knew what was happening. Both tried to interfere, but Armando and I handled the situation. The money was delivered for the instructions.
Very well. Tell me where you want my men to go.
Can I get a guess about, like, are they on a major? Are they going out of town, or are they? Well, the
Yeah,
tracking device.
they're headed towards the edge of town, right? They're like getting on a major road, and they're headed towards the edge of town, as far as you can tell.
Okay, so I just want to give him an instruction about here's a place where we should meet. That's in that direction. Yeah.
Great. So, yeah, that's solid. That's solid. So I think just to wrap up here, because we're running short on time. I think we cut to Armando and Oso sitting outside like this little warehouse on the edge of town, right? That you're maybe parked around the corner from it, and you sort of are watching this man and this woman. They pull up and the door slides open and they drive in, and the two of you, the truckload of guys that he sends pulls up behind you. And, Don Ramon might have kind of a sophisticated quality to him, but a lot of his enforcers are just guys, right? So they're in the back of the truck, and they're not particularly skilled or like quiet even, right? So what do you tell them that you want them to do?
Stay back, spread out, and do nothing until I tell you. Nothing until I tell you.
All right. They kind of nod at you, like, very well. Yeah, good. And Armando, what do? You've kind of gotten yourself in the middle of this. Oso looks pretty badly hurt. These guys are not exactly the most stable of hired killers. What's your plan here?
I'm sitting there. I'm like gripping onto the steering wheel of the truck, and I'm just like looking around. Still pretty high, still paranoid, a little freaked out. This has just gone from bad to worse to like. So I'm thinking I got a gun. I think I got a gun. I can help with this. I can do something. So I'm gonna get out of the truck.
Okay.
And I am going to go up to our Armando, and I'm sorry, to go up to Oso and be like, man, this is like, I can help make this right, man. I can help this. Tell me what to do. Tell me what I need to do. And so I don't know if I need to do
no,
size
it makes
someone
sense.
up or anything.
No, you're good. Yeah. You're good. So he comes up to you and he looks a little high, to be honest, right? And he says he's interested in helping.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead. Actually.
Okay. You've been solid. Oh, you've been solid also, Armando.
Sorry, hold on for a second.
Yep. No worries.
Your dog just ate a bee.
Okay.
I'm
All
gonna
right.
call the vet and see if it's an emergency.
Okay. Alrighty. Dog just ate a bee.
Oh,
Oh man.
sorry to hear that.
More. Wow. More pet
Yeah,
emergencies.
completely fine about it. So, anyways, all right. Let's go ahead.
Are we good? Okay.
Yeah.
Armando, you've been solid through this whole thing. Very impressed. Just hold it together. I need you. I'm gonna go in there. I need you to relay my instructions to this crew of locos.
Okay.
Stay here. So I want to, Mark. I want to read this new situation.
Cool. That's great. Are you kind of just walking up to the door? Is that your plan?
Not yet.
Not
I'm
yet.
going to read
Okay.
the situation first.
Okay.
But
Very
that's
good.
probably my plan.
That sounds awesome. So go ahead and roll for me.
Okay. So this will be +1 is an 8.
Great. So you get one question.
Oh man. So what's my enemy's true position? Or wait, hold on. No. What's my way past? My way past this situation.
I don't know if you can say past here, like
No,
think
oh,
about
and in that context, I guess let's just go with true position. That's easier.
yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So true position. So you kind of watch them for a little while, right? And nobody's coming and nobody's going. And to be honest, like you would expect them to have some patrols or some guards or something.
Yeah, yeah.
No, nothing.
No.
Your enemy's true position is inside the building, and they don't
Okay.
seem to be expecting you.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna. In fact, I'll go over to Armando, and I pat him on the back, and with that motion, I take the surveillance device, the listening device that I had on him.
Yeah.
I take it out of his pocket, and I say, "I'm gonna have this in my jacket here." I tuck it in so that you can hear what's going on, and I give you my earpiece.
And you realize, Armando, he's been listening to you the whole time.
And I'm like, what? Just totally flabbergasted. And then I'm like, look, I did what I did because I wanted to keep your son out of the way, and just, I had to say what I had to say.
I just put my hand back on your shoulder. You did well, son. You did very well. But I need you a little more. I need you to do even more.
All right.
And I pass over, so now you're monitoring me.
Okay, so I adjust the earpiece and make sure it's all set and ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah, great, cool. So yeah, so you just walk up to the front door.
Yep.
Great, cool. So yeah, so the door is this kind of like gray metal door, like industrial kind of door, and yeah, you can see some windows, but they're all kind of like boarded up or at least very closed and maybe foiled or something like that. So it's hard to look inside. You stand in front of it for a minute or two, nothing happens.
No, I just walk straight up and knock.
You knock. Great, perfect, cool. So yeah, so you knock and you hear like some scuffling kind of on the other side of the door, and then kind of a silence.
Okay. I knock again.
Who's there?
Someone who can save your life. Open the damn door.
So the door opens, and you see there's a woman there with a gun drawn on you, and the guy, the pair that you saw before, and like they're like kind of looking at you, and the woman like steps back as if to welcome you into the building.
Okay. I walk right in.
Right.
And in fact, I'm going to raise my hands.
Yeah.
I'm going to slowly open the jacket, and then just really slowly, I'm going to take out the Magnum, and I'm going to hand it to her.
Okay, great, cool. Yeah, she takes it and motions for you to go into the warehouse.
Okay. To walk in. I don't know. I don't want to keep doing this over and over again, but I feel like I could read the situation.
It's a totally different situation. No, that's great. It's a totally different situation. Read it again. That's great.
Okay, cool. So this is +1. Damn it. Well, 7.
Ask your one question.
Okay. Which enemy is most vulnerable to me?
So the woman looks like she's kind of got her head screwed on straight, but the guy is like looking all over. And yeah, like if you win at him, he would not probably see you coming.
Okay. Okay. And what else do I see around? I want to get.
Yeah, totally. Sorry.
I want to slowly be moving in.
Yeah. You catch some real information about him because he's right there. Remember, you get a +1 if you act on that, right? And when you look inside, you see that there's just kind of a carport kind of thing. There's 2 cars parked here, and there's Don's wife is sitting in a chair. She's handcuffed. She looks like she has not slept in a day or two, and she is like her mascara is kind of running. Like she looks like she's been crying, and she sees you, and she kind of like lifts her head up with a little bit of sort of like pride or security. Like she's like, okay, yes, like yes, good. Like she knows that you're here.
What's her name?
I don't know if we
I don't think we've given
her a name
yet.
before. Yeah, good. So give me just a second here. Let's do let's say Marisol.
Marisol. Yeah. Marisol, everything is going to be fine. Your ransom is paid. These business people, they know the situation. They will take their money. We will all go back to the dawn. Everything will be fine. Don't worry. Everything is okay.
The guy says, "What? Are you fucking kidding me? We should kill him. Like fucking kill him. Like how did he find us? That means that if he knows if he's here, then that means that there are other people here. They might be waiting outside. Kill him.
Okay.
Kill him."
I turn on him, and if this is possible, I want to grab his gun, like his gun hand,
Yeah.
and grab him by the shirt collar and slam him against the wall.
Cool.
Pendejo, of course there are other people here. This place is surrounded. The Don wants his wife more than he wants the money, and we're going to let you walk away from here if you're smart. Otherwise, everyone here dies. Is that what you want?
So it sounds to me like you want to turn to violence first and seize control of him, right? Because that's cool. Important, right? So let's do that first.
Okay. So this will be +2 because of my read the situation.
Yeah, cool. Because it balances your -1. Yeah.
Whew. Okay, so 7. Nice.
So you only get to pick 2 options off the list. What are they?
Okay. I avoid collateral damage.
Great.
And I suffer a little harm.
Great, cool, yeah. So he doesn't shoot you, right? Like he gets kind of twisted away from him. He doesn't shoot anybody else, exactly, right? But you do have to mark stress, right? And you don't inflict a lot of harm, right? You just kind of push him up against the wall. Yeah, and the woman is like she's like shaking. Her arms are shaking, right? And you deliver the speech about like we're gonna let you walk out of here, and she's like, Tonyo, let's like listen to the man. We have the money. Let's just let her go. Just let her go. And he looks at you and make your roll. Like let's have you pressure him. See if he's willing to let her go. Actually, I'm trying to think if this is actually an offer.
I was thinking pressure.
No, it's pressure because you're threatening to kill him if he doesn't, right? That's the idea. Yeah, it's not an offer. Cool.
Okay. And I still get the +1 from my read the sitch?
Yeah, because he's still vulnerable to you. Sure, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So this will be +2. Oh, shit. Here, let's try this again. Okay. 10, nice.
10. You feel him kind of go slack, right? And he steps back, and he says, so we just take the briefcase and we leave.
That's it. You walk out of here. Everyone leaves alive, or everyone is dead. Those are your choices.
He grabs the briefcase, and he, like, starts to, head towards the door. And the two of them sort of slowly back up out the door, and then leave.
Okay. While they're moving, I put myself in front of Marisol.
Great.
So between them and her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
And then I just, as soon as they're outside, where I know that Armando and all the guys are watching.
Yeah.
As soon as they're within me, I say, kill them.
Right, great, yeah. So, so Armando, you heard the whole conversation, like we're gonna let you go, all of that, right? What do you do?
Right. So yeah, I hear that. I look over at the rest of the men, and I'm like, you know, like
Great. So yeah, so they the lights from the truck turn on and they pull around the corner, and you can see the two of them just kind of getting frozen for a moment in that light, and then just gunfire. Right.
Right.
You know, and I think we'll cut there. So
Right.
great. So back with Maria. So Maria, you come home exhausted. You know, you're still covered in blood, honestly, right?
It's not that uncommon, actually.
Right, that's not right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you open the door, and there's Izzy and Yolanda, and they both are laughing about, and then they see you and they stop laughing. They're both like, ha 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 ha, ha. Oh, hey, how are you?
I think this is time to be a bit of a drama queen.
Okay, what do you do?
They're going to hear about the shooting at the mall anyway.
Yeah.
So I play it up. Someone went crazy at the mall. I was there. I stepped in heroically to patch up the wounded. I make it into a drama, a telenovela of its own.
So the idea here is that you're pushing your luck for them not to be suspicious of you being covered in blood.
Yes.
Right. So great. Okay. Cool. So the idea here is that you're trying to just sort of flounce in and have it not be a big deal and wash up and just do the whole thing as if it's not. There's nothing going on, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So Yolanda, Izzy kind of glares at you a little bit. She still is pretty upset about you having a life and her not having one.
Yeah.
And she kind of retreats back to her room. And Yolanda comes over to you and says, and just kind of like whispers, girl talk wise. She's like, thank you so much for getting me to go out with Izzy. Like she is so interesting. And she just really is very observant. Like she just sees so much. So I just really thank you. And we're gonna go out to lunch again tomorrow or go out to dinner after I get off work tomorrow. So I think you're gonna be seeing a lot more of me, and I'm hopeful that works out for you.
So inwardly, I'm thinking maybe I've just doubled my problems, but outwardly, it's like, oh, you're such a doll. Thank you for taking care of her.
Perfect. Good. Cool. And I think we leave there, and the camera kind of pans over the linens, right, that are there, and they're just soaked in blood.
Right.
Right. Of all the blood that's on them. Great. Cool. All right. So let's do a quick epilogue thing. So what do we see? Kind of like at the end of the episode here. So Armando, what do we see you do as we kind of close out this episode?
I'm gonna try to make amends with Chewie. Like,
oh, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and go up to and be like show up at the house or go to Chewie's room. Maybe he has separate ends or something, and I'll have I don't know, it's 2007, so I'm trying to think of what's hot Xbox back then, but whatever, you know what I mean? I've got
well, maybe you meet him after school or something, right? So you don't have to worry about his mom. Yeah.
The new Call of Duty, the first Call of Duty, probably.
The first Call of Duty, right? Yeah, or some sneakers or something, right? Yeah, good.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, come on, man, and so I try to make amends with him and be like, everything's cool, everything's normal, and I don't know, maybe he does, but there's this undercurrent that things have changed and he's it's not going to be the same anymore. There's this veneer of we're still buddy, but something's different, something's wrong.
Awesome, good. What about you? Also, what do we see you doing at the end?
I'm escorting the Don's wife and his briefcase full of money back to the Don. Still, I can't believe I'm not dead again. This is I just assumed, but yeah, I think at 5 stress, I think that I'm gonna go as soon as I drop her, her and the money. I drop them off with the Dawn, and I go on a massive 3-day bender. Because Five
see you-
stress.
Yeah. We see you maybe like cleaning your gun and drinking, right? Like
Yeah.
you're doing what you can. Great. And finally, Maria, what do we see from you in the last moments here?
So in my sister's room, I currently have her wheelchair upside down. She's sleeping in the bed. I have a knife, and I'm fitting one of my husband's listening devices into the padding of the wheelchair.
Nice.
That's great. Good. Okay. Wonderful, gentlemen. So that's Cartel, kind of from start to finish. And one of the cool things is thinking about like what might happen in the next episode and things like that, sort of TV show wise. But y'all did a great job of bringing the drama. So that's wonderful. Last kind of thing that I want to note is just again, thank you for your support of Big Bad Con, and this has been a lot of fun. And as far as the online games go, I think it's a really interesting, cool thing that they're doing. So I really appreciate y'all being a part of it. Thank you.
And thank you for running this. This was
a lot of
awesome.
fun.
Awesome.
Had a great time. Thanks, Mark.
Excellent. Good. Thanks.
Good
All
to
right.
meet you all.
Thanks, guys.
Good night, all you in TV land.
See ya.